Hey there, parents. Welcome to my masterclass. I'm Claire Tomkinson from Clarify Sex Education, and if you're here, you have chosen this, you want to be in this moment, and you want to feel that confidence and clarity that is available when you prepare to have the talk with your child. So the first thing I'm going to do is just invite you into this space. Just be here and relax a little bit. Just get comfortable. And in this time, you're going to learn everything I have to teach you about how to prepare for the talk with your child. On today's agenda, we're going to talk about practical tips and best practices to make this conversation super meaningful and maybe even fun. And while we're on the topic of fun, I just want to say that I love teaching sex ed, and I've been teaching sex ed for 15 years to hundreds of parents and kids. And one of the things I always find myself doing is just laughing. And I'm not making fun of the material, and I'm not making it funny. I find the joy, I find the humor, and I find the fun in the conversation. And if that is how you are too, it is okay to be in that space. It's okay to giggle. It's okay to just enjoy it. And it's okay to delight in your children's questions or their answers. And that's all right. That's all part of the joy of having this conversation. I guess the first question that I want to address is, why do we talk about sex? Why do I talk about sex? Talking about sex is fundamentally important as a human being. I believe every human being has the right to know how their bodies work, how their relationships work, and what to expect as they grow and develop. It's almost cruel to imagine not having this information and just entering into the world of adolescence and development and puberty and dating and just have no background in understanding what's happening to you. What is crazy is so many people, that's exactly their experience. Let's rewrite this narrative for humanity. We can do better. We are so eager to teach our children how to eat and how to use a fork and how to go to the bathroom and how to write and how to read. And this is essential too. This is so important. So I'm really, really proud of you for taking the time to be here and for committing to this journey. Why do we talk about sex? Studies have shown, and there have been a lot of studies that have shown, that children with foundational factual, those two things go together, foundational factual sex education, are more confident, they make healthier decisions, they are less likely to have dangerous or harmful experiences, particularly sexually. They're better at reading cues and identifying dangerous situations, and overall they just have a deeper sense of well-being. They have fewer mental health problems and emotional health problems. And if you combine that with them having an adult they can go to, so a parent, a guardian who talks to them and is open with them and is honest with them in this conversation, we're talking about overall well-being. So now that we know that talking to your child about sex and puberty reduces their risk of harm, it boosts their self-confidence, and it gives them a sense of overall well-being, now we need to talk about how to start. And this seems so simple, but I promise you it's so important. The first step is asking them, when is a good time to talk? This is a really critical moment. So at some point, sit down with your child and just ask them, if I need to talk to you about something important, something that really matters to me, what time of day? Is there a certain time in our routine in our day where you can really listen and you can really be present to me when we talk? And let your child answer that question. And I know a lot of kids will be like, right when I get home from school, that's the best time, or right before bed. And a lot of parents don't love that one because that's the bedtime delay. But if that's when they're really open, just put them to bed a little bit early and get those talks in. So find out when is the best time to talk. When can your child be fully present, fully engaged in a conversation where they can listen to what you want to share with them? Here's the key. This is the linchpin. Now you explain to your child when is the best time for you to talk. What time in your day and in your routine can you be most present, most available to them in that space and in that time? And this is key. This is one of the first conversations you'll have with your child where they're very aware that you are a person too, and you have boundaries and you have needs and you have times that actually could be better if they want to talk to you about something really important. That asking you a question when you're carrying all your grocery bags and your keys, trying to get out the door when you're late to school, that's not a good time to ask where babies come from. But if you've just finished dinner, you're done with the dishes, you're sitting down, you're having a cup of tea, you're ready. You're ready to have a talk. Like helping them identify what a quality conversation could be and how to set that up is so crucial and really helps them read another person's cues and gives them an emotional awareness of how you're doing and when they can talk to you. And so many parents tell me, I want to tell my child I'm available anytime they want to talk. And if that is you, do that. Own it. But I know that there are times in the day where I have a much harder time being present to my child than others. And I would much rather my child come to me with something important when I can really engage in that and be the best version of myself in that moment. From that moment on, when it feels right, use that time of day, that moment in the day, to have a check-in conversation with your child. This is going to create the habit of checking in. And this is the next step in preparing for the talk. If you create a daily habit of checking in with your child, then when you want to talk to them about something like sex or puberty or relationships or rules or whatever is coming up for you, you already have this space where you are both familiar with it, you're both comfortable with it, you're both ready to engage with one another in that way. It's already a part of your routine, it's already part of your relationship. So getting into the habit of checking in is really important. And I am not talking about doing this every single day. Some people do, and that's great. But every other day, every 2 days, a couple times a week, use that time that you've designated together to just ask how are things going at school? Are you working on anything that you're excited about? Tell me about like a struggle you had this week and how you overcame it. Like, I just want to hear how you're doing. Just checking in, just finding out if they have anything going on. And I have a lot of tips in my Clarify Lesson series that give you more details about how to make these spaces really intentional. So I hope that you'll check those out at the end of the video. And one of the really important ways that you can talk to your child and really engage with them is through these talking activities. I have all these conversation activities that teach you how to have really, really meaningful conversations in these really special moments that you're creating in your routine, in your relationship throughout the day. So getting in the habit of checking in is not just about preparing for the sex talk. It is really about establishing trust and openness with one another. And this really deepens your bond as a parent and child to have that space. And this is a space that opens you up to being a part of lots of different areas of their lives and really gives you access to their needs and their hearts and their values and whatever they're going through. So creating this habit is so important, not just for the sex talk, but just as a parent and a child and being that guiding force in their lives. So as you're getting in the habit of checking in, you're finding this natural space and time that works for you and your child. There are certain questions that will make this time much more meaningful and much more intentional for both of you. And the number one thing that really, really supports parents in this space is to remember not to ask yes or no questions. When you hit your child with a yes or no question, that's all you're going to get is a yes or no. Did you have a good day today? Yes. Did you have fun with your friend at school? Yes. Like that, they're not going to go into depth. This isn't going to start a conversation. So if you could ask open-ended questions, this is really going to open up the conversation. And that's such an important part of getting your child to feel comfortable talking to you and coming to you with important things and building that trust and that bond together. Another great thing to think about is instead of asking why questions, replace the why with how or what. A lot of times why, and this works for adults too, a lot of times when you ask why questions, you put the person you're talking to on the defensive. Why did you say that to that friend? Well, why do you think she got mad at you? Like that immediately, the kid's like, I have to defend myself. She's asked, like, she wants to know why. But if you rephrase that, how did saying that to your friend make you feel? How did saying that to your friend make your friend react? This is going to get you a much deeper conversation, a much more thoughtful conversation. This is going to build a lot more dialogue than the why question, and your child's going to stay at ease and open to this conversation. Another thing that asking how and what questions does is it helps you as a parent step back and not insert your thoughts or judgments or critique into the conversation. And this brings me to my next point. Really, really keeping non-biased values in this kind of sacred conversational space is so important for maintaining openness and honesty and a sense of comfort with your child. It would be really helpful and would continue to keep the door open for talking if you let your child finish their thought and then just say, wow, I would love to offer some feedback on what you shared with me. Would you be open to that? And if they say yes, like, offer it. That's a good time. But if they say no, give them that respect. Like, respect that space. They just wanted to share, and they just wanted you to know what they're going through. So at the end of the day, what we're trying to achieve with the habit of checking in and having these open conversations with your child is the sense of they're not alone. You're trying to send them the message that they are not alone and you are walking with them. And if that just means they want you to hear what they have to say and acknowledge they're going through something, that is important enough in and of itself, just like that. So that's what this time is about. You are not alone, and I am with you on this journey. Inevitably in this space, as you're talking, as you're sharing, you're going to be positioned to have to share things about yourself. And this is what makes some parents pretty squeamish, especially as these conversations start to ease into the puberty and the sex talk. And that is okay. That is okay. You do not have to disclose everything about yourself to have open, honest conversations with your child. If you're practicing these non-biased values, you can say, wow, that is so private, and that's not something I'm willing to share with you, but I can offer this. That is always okay, and it's okay for your child to say that back. So as you prepare to share your experiences and be open to sharing your experiences with your child, I would encourage you to think of this as an opportunity to share a wisdom story. The goal of a wisdom story is to help a child understand they are not alone and that you are with them. That's the point of a wisdom story. This is a great time to tell a story from your life about how you relate to your child. You don't have to inundate them with details. It doesn't have to be all about you. Remember that the baseline here and the goal of the wisdom story is to say, yeah, I had a friend who bullied me at school and said mean things to me, and I remember how that felt, and it felt really bad. I think I understand how you're feeling right now. That's how a wisdom story supports the child and helps them feel like they can relate to you. And the other beautiful thing about children is, of course, they look up to us. They look up to their parents. They look up to adults. They don't learn from our perfectionism. They don't learn from us getting everything right. What they learn from us is our vulnerability. It's how we show up in those weak moments, how we show up when we're not ready, how we show up when we're not prepared. That's what they're learning. And this is where wisdom is gained. And it is okay to let your child know that you have felt vulnerable and you have felt small and you have felt unequipped at times. As you edge into wisdom stories and get closer to cracking open topics like puberty and sex and dating and all that entails, inevitably you're going to be faced with hopes for your child, expectations for your child, rules you'd like to establish for your child. And that's really important for you to already have thought about before you enter these spaces. Creating boundaries is a really important part of parenting, and children they're looking for that. They need that. And it's okay to set those boundaries. Communicating them is a different thing. And so when it comes to having this special space, this habit of checking in space with your child, where you're being open and you're holding up all these non-biased values, you're sharing wisdom stories, you can express your expectations and your rules for your child's behavior and how they move forward into adolescence in a way that feels like an extension of your love and protection instead of your control or oppression. And a lot of times I think so many of us grew up with our parents being like, you can't do this, and that's the rule. Moving on. And maybe the rule was you can't date till you're 16. That's just how it is. And wouldn't it have been helpful if your parent was like, I don't want you to date till you're 16. That is my hope for you. That is my expectation of you. And here's why I think that. The way that a child can receive a rule as an extension of your love and protection is by helping them see the heart behind it. So if you have a really firm rule, whatever it's based in, a behavior, a religion, a belief system, an experience you had, whatever your rule is, if you can show them the heart behind it, which is essentially the reason for it, then they will be more likely to follow that rule or understand that rule or respect that rule. And if you think about every rule that you ever had to live into as a child, at the base of that was something about protecting you. There's something about protecting you in every rule. And behind that protection is love. So if you can learn how to communicate rules from that space of, I've created this because I love you and I'm trying to protect you from this and this and this, and I believe that you will experience all of these wonderful, fulfilling things if you live into this rule or expectation, then you will be healthier and happier, and ultimately your life will be better. And that's what I want. I want you to have a really rich, full life, and I think this rule will help you get to that point. That is my advice here. As you start to teach your child what the rules and expectations and hopes are in your household, show them the heart behind the rule so that they will be more likely to understand it, to accept it, and to see the value in. As you're having these conversations and you're getting into the habit of talking with your child and you're getting more comfortable in this space and you're establishing this openness and you're establishing rules and expectations that are directing your child to an understanding that you support their well-being overall, there is another practice I would encourage you to do that is really just, it's about your own self-awareness. When you enter into conversations with your child, I urge you to just scan your body for a second. Listen to how you're talking, feel how you're showing up, become aware of your face, your gestures, your arms, everything in this space, and make little adjustments as you're talking to continue to center yourself in a place of like comfort and openness and relax a little bit. This is all body language. So when you step into a conversation, if you're talking to your child like this, and you have your arms crossed, this sends a message. It sends a lot of messages, but the message you're giving your child is like, you're not open and you're not here to actually connect with them. You're literally covering up your heart with your arms. You're protecting your heart from this conversation. Take your arms down, put them by your sides. When you open up your chest space, you're literally opening up your heart. You're signaling your own body that you're open to connecting, like on an emotional level with this person. And you're signaling the person you're with that you are open to connecting. So making your body language open literally is going to open the conversation and open up the space with your child to create an energy that's like, I'm here to connect with you on a deeper level. If you're a fidgety person, sometimes that can be distracting. But if you're really fidgety to the point where your child's just watching your hands the whole time, like pick up a cup, hold something, squeeze something, just put something in your hands. That helps bring a sense of calm to the conversation. And the fidgeting also passes on a message of like, I'm nervous and I'm uncomfortable. And what we're trying to create in this space is a sense of comfort for your child. Another thing that you can be aware of is your face. Like, what's your face doing? Are you smiling? Are you frowning? Are your eyes wide open? Just what is your face doing? And try to assume an expression of calm. This will literally cue your body to feel calmer. Also be aware of your tone when you're talking. Are you getting louder and more intense? Because that's going to shift the conversation. Or are you just like really, really nervous and like twittering your voice? Try and take a deep breath. It's okay to slow down and be calm. Like, just remember, like low conversational tone, create a sense of ease and openness. And what's so cool about body language and tone, this works with adults, but it really works with kids. Whatever the energy is you're bringing into the conversation, they're going to match it. They're going to show up and match it. So if you're doing this and you're talking really loud and low and you're just really uncomfortable, they will match that. And I think if you think back to like the sex talks you had as a kid, probably a lot of what you remember is actually matching your parents' energy. And that's really important in these conversations to be aware of. We are almost there. The next big tip and expert piece of advice I have, this works for every relationship in your life, but it's so important when you're talking to children. This is an active listening tool. When your child tells you something, pause, think about what they said after they've said it. Like, just pause, take it in for a moment, think about what they said. Simply say, this is what I heard you say, and repeat back to them what you heard them say. And at the end of that, ask them, did I receive the message? Like, did I clearly understand what you tried to convey to me? And then give your child a moment to answer. Let them think. Don't speak too soon. Just give them the pause and let them think about it. And if they think and they're like, wow, yeah, you got it exactly, great. But if they pause and they're like, that isn't exactly what I wanted you to get out of this, then you're like, would you like to try again? Like, I really want to understand exactly what you want me to know. Would you like to try again? And they probably will. In the same way, after you have said something to your child that's important, pause and ask your child, what did you hear me say? And then give your child a moment to think about it. Don't speak over them. Anytime you give your child a pause, give them a pause. They will talk. Most people are so uncomfortable with silence. They're going to feel it. So if you can wait it out, they're going to talk. So just give them a moment and then hear what they heard you say. And if what they heard you say is not the message you wanted to convey to them, say that. Just, wow, this is not a moment to be like, you weren't listening. You didn't hear what I had to say. That's not how this goes. This is a building trust space. So the response that keeps the door open to conversation is, wow, I did not clearly convey what I was trying to tell you. Can I try again? Because I really want you to understand the message that I'm trying to tell you. And the kid's going to say yes. So then you try again, and then you ask them again, what did you hear me say? Then they tell you, make sure your message is clear. This listening tool is so wonderful because it really makes sure that everybody in the discussion is receiving the message that's meant to be conveyed and they're understanding it. It just adds so much clarity to any conversation. And not only that, you as a parent, you can walk away with so much confidence that your child understood the message you were trying to tell them. So many times we have important conversations with our children and we don't check in to find out what they got out of it. And so many times it will blow you away how left field kids will get with conversations. I do this with my kids all the time, and I will just be astounded what they got out of that conversation because it's not what I was trying to tell them. So I will try again. And it is so helpful. This is the tool that helps you sleep at night because you know exactly what they got out of it. And you know you said what you wanted to say and you conveyed it exactly the way you wanted to and that they got it. Like, this tool is essential. So just remember, what did you hear me say? Pause, listen to their response, and can I try again if it didn't go well or they didn't receive what you were trying to convey to them. If you use all of these tools, you get into the habit of checking in, you are really intentional with how you communicate in that space, you're asking open-ended questions, you're telling wisdom stories, and you're conveying rules and expectations from a place of love and protection, and you're able to practice this active listening exercise, there is no doubt whatsoever you are going to be perfectly set up to have these really, really influential, meaningful, important conversations with your child that don't even feel high stakes. These are some of the most important talks you can have, and they will feel comfortable and natural and just a part of your relationship. And doing this sets you up to have conversations that grow with your child. So you don't have to dump all this information on them at once. You don't have to have the talk. It's not just like a heaping of information. You can layer, but if there's no communication space, there's no relationship having this open dialogue all along, then all of a sudden this puts so much pressure on this conversation and it becomes this really high stakes thing that your child, they need it. All of a sudden you realize they're going through puberty, they want to date someone, they don't know anything that you're aware of. They probably know a lot because they found the information already, but you don't know what they know. And now it's just all this pressure. So developing into this habit of having open dialogue and open communication is so essential for setting your child up to have meaningful conversations with you about puberty and sex that will continue to grow with them. And the message at the bottom of all of this is that you are with them. You are walking alongside them, and this door is open and you're there. And that is what actually gives your child that overall sense of wellness and that confidence that all these studies are showing are possible. The next step in preparing for the talk is actually having the talk. And having the talk is not a one-time thing. And I've actually created my Clarify lesson series to reflect that and naturally set you up for that. I would invite you to check out the Clarify lesson series and just make this conversation really easy to navigate, super comfortable for you and your child, something that grows with both of you so that you develop a deep sense of trust and bonding that ultimately lasts a life. Thank you for being here. I am so proud of you for just taking the bull by the horns. It is so important to be the go-to person in your child's life. No one is better positioned than you. Ultimately, your child wants you to be this person, and I am so happy that you are going to step into that space. So check out the Clarify lesson series, and remember that when you purchase the lesson series, you automatically get a month in the Clarify community, which lets you connect to all of our extended resources. You get live Q&A with me, and you get to connect to our community forum. So if you have any additional questions or needs, that is all available there. And just like growing alongside your child, Clarify is growing alongside you. So our Clarify community is continuing to grow. My lessons are going to continue to grow and shape and evolve to the needs of our parents and kids in the community. So please be a part of that, contribute to that so that we can make this a really natural part of every family's life and just remove that terrible taboo that has been holding humans back for millennia. Thank you for being here. I'm Claire from Clarify Sex Education, taking the cringe out of the talk.